It's official, I think, with Gundam, The Witch from Mercury Episode 6, we can officially say that Sueta has the happy birthday song of death. Sorry. Our second death when Sueta is singing happy birthday. I don't know if this is going to become a theme for the rest of the series, but she's not allowed to sing happy birthday anymore because people die whenever she does. So it kind of dawned on me at that ending segment. I'm like, are they really gonna do that again? Are they really gonna do that again? Is okay, whatever. But no, really solid episode overall. Really did enjoy it. I think we're finally starting to kind of ramp certain aspects up and really starting to. I don't know if I want to say that it's getting dark now. I don't. It could, but I think this is kind of the testing point. We're getting a little bit of taste of, oh, by the way, this isn't just fun and games, school time, which I think a lot of people are probably at this point getting into. Yes, technically the prelude was pretty dark. Let's be perfectly honest, having pretty much the entire Vanadis Institute being wiped out. But I don't know, I think you can make an argument that it felt like it was getting a little bit more juvenile with it being in a school setting and everybody just having goofy fun for a while. But again, I kind of assumed that was the case because they were trying to get us really kind of developed into the characters and get settled into the political pulls that are happening. But yes, opening up the episode, we finally get an introduction of who this is. It wasn't Wendy. Everybody in the comments like, Wendy died inside of a mobile suit in the prelude. I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot about that. I don't know. There was some people saying it was this other person, the other girl that was with her. And I'm like, well, pick your poison. It was the being stabbed inside of a mobile suit a fake out, or was getting shot in the head a fake out? You never know. Sometimes they can just go, well, actually, technology these days is so much easier to save the life, so they survived. But no, it ended up being Belmeria Winston, which I guess I don't even know who that is. So I'm guessing it's somebody that wasn't at the Vanadis Institute. Again, I don't remember seeing her. So maybe somebody in the comics is like, oh no, they're right in this scene. So we'll see. But yeah, it does seem like Prospera does seem to be very familiar with her, calling her Belle, and the fact that she called her senpai and whatnot. It does seem like the two of them have familiarity. And Prospera is obviously pointing out, when did you decide to join the pill industries? And she's like, well, I had no choice. But it kind of goes into like a back and forth between the two of them. Like, oh, you couldn't have built the Ariel by yourself, but why would you have your own daughter pilot that thing? At the same time, Prospera's like, well, what about that Gundam pilot that you have? Well, how many have you built? Again, already having Prospera indicating this idea that, yes, Elan is some sort of product. He's not just a person, he's a product, something that the pill industries is designing to, I guess, offset the whole gun format issue. And so with this, obviously Belle is kind of thrown off. Like, she has nothing to argue it. There are basically, this is, again, like they mentioned, Elan is number 4, and yes, as we see with the very end of it, we have plenty to replace him, dispose of him. These aren't human pilots, these are products of theirs. The other little point that they made in here that I'm very curious about is at some point Belle says there's no point in taking revenge for a 21-year-old, and then it cuts off. Prospera cuts her off. I don't really know what they're talking about here unless they're indicating the 21-year-old was Suleta's father. Maybe he was 21 years old, which I don't think that would be the case. I guess it could be if they had a child very young. I don't think this indicates that this is a 21-year span since this incident happened at Vanadis to the point they are now, because then Suleta would be much older unless there's some sort of time issue with being a Mercury or something. So again, it's kind of indicating that something, again, it could be that they're trying to indicate that Sueta's father is something different. Was Belle about to say that this 21-year-old Earthian, and that was an indication that her father is an Earthian? Or is it something else? So yeah, 21-year-old Earthian, 21-year-old Spatian, 21-year-old feud, but we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, in parting, Prospera is reporting out that yes, I've discovered where the other witch is at, under the wing of the pill industries. And that cuts to us with the girls and Sueta all trying to figure out what the hell is wrong with Elan. Why is he being so mean? And additionally, yes, Murin being upset that Sueta would go out and accept the duel without first conversing with her. But in return, she says, I won't forgive you if you lose. And yes, poor... I feel so bad for Guel. Like, Guel is becoming like a meme online right now with how bad things are with him. I mean, I've seen like a meme where it shows him and he's fallen over and he looks like a kid and there's like all this broken, like all of his broken mobile suits in front of him. And now you essentially have memes of Guel sitting down next to all the Eurocamp girls and camping out because, yes, he gets kicked out of the Jet Turks, not just from the support of his father, but additionally out of the house itself. He leaves his brother to pretty much head it. And yes, now he is out camping, apparently. He's got nowhere to live. It does seem like his father's like, look, I'll still handle your tuition fee, so at least he's still able to stay at the school, but yes, he has nowhere to live, so he's camping out. I feel so bad for this guy at this point. I think we need a redemption point for Guel, and I think it's going to be... I think his redemption point is going to be really sweet because of just what kind of crap he's kind of going through. We have the duel meeting, which at that point, Elan wants Ariel. Suetta doesn't know what she wants, but she's really upset because she wants to figure out what's wrong with Elan. Why does he hate her so much right now? Sadiq kind of mentioned at this point, look, I think it's sort of a product of yourself. Like a lot of people are changing because of your existence here. And Sadiq even mentions the idea that even myself, I'm very curious about you. Now, the issue that comes with the duel is that they've mentioned that it's going to be taking place outside of the front. So it's going to be out in space. And so now here's the weird thing. And I guess it matches up to the first episode. They indicate that Ariel doesn't have any thrusters. It's like, of all the things they forgot to put inside of Ariel, like this advanced Gundam, it doesn't have thrusters. And so they need to build thrusters. And so this goes through this whole process of the Earthian house trying to go and get a bunch of scraps to put together to build a thruster for it, which, because Nika is so good, she's able to put something together, which actually works out. Now, this is where we get a really brief, interesting scene with Elan and Bell, as Elan has done some testing, and Bell's like, you're doing good. He's like, oh, so that means that I'll survive this time, but the next time, I'm not going to survive. So it indicates here that this duel with Suetta is going to be his final duel that he'll be able to do, or at least piloting that he'll be able to do before this whole system, the Data Storm, is going to kill him. But additionally, somebody enters the room. Yes, the original enters the room and mentions the fact that, yes, Elan is a surrogate of his. He's taken upon his face, which we've mentioned several times that he is the fake prince, but I think that might be implying to something else. But specifically to Elan himself, he is technically a copy. And they mentioned the idea that if he pulls this off, if he gets their bride, then they will give him his face back and give him a citizen card. So they're kind of giving him some sort of incentive to win this next duel, which I don't think either way it was going to happen. I think either way, if he won and got Ariel, or if he lost, which he did, they were going to dispose of him. What was kind of interesting, though, is that they kind of indicate, and I really am mad the fact that Elan is dead at this point, because it sort of indicated here, I guess, a deeper picture of Elan himself, and the idea that they're questioning why he did what he did. I mean, they were giving him something in return for winning, but he doesn't seem to care. Well, at the same time, he's like, but why would you accept to do this? Like, it indicates that Elan accepted to become the surrogate and be this test pilot because he wanted something. But no, Elan seems to indicate that he was cursed long before this. Like, him taking on this responsibility for piloting something that is cursed, it doesn't matter to him because he was already cursed. The only thing I can think of here, again, it's sort of implied, so I guess you can make the conclusion, is that his curse was that he had nobody. He lost his mother, and nobody was there for him, and so he has nothing, so he was already cursed. The following scene was testing out the thrusters, which I thought was a really cute scene. The thrusters are working well, and at some point, she's talking to Nika, and then we kind of find out that, oh yes, Murin is there as well. And Murin kind of uses her own words against her. This idea of running away and gaining one, but, going forward and gaining two. Why are you out here hiding? Why are you out here retreating when you can go and gain two? Which was an indication of her saying to Suetta, go find out why he's mad. Like, why are you upset about this? Go find out why he's mad at you. And that leads her to running all the way over to the Peel Industries house, and everybody's like, what are you doing here? Nobody knows where he's at. No, he's not going to come out and talk to you. This dude's always gone. But yes, she just goes on the comms and starts singing happy birthday, which completely frustrates him. I thought it was really cute. I thought it was super cute. Just her. And again, this is what aspect of, I think she would probably be nervous if she went out there and talked to people. But the fact that she was on this PA system, I think it made her a little bit more comfortable with yelling out happy birthday to like an entire house. And this is where we get into the actual duel itself, which Suetta announced that she wants to know more about Elan. In return, Elan's going to get Ariel. But this is I don't know what we're doing here. I am very curious what we're doing here, honestly, because essentially when we have this whole duel happening, and obviously the fact that Elan is piloting is really good at maneuverability. Apparently the Peel industry is known for their maneuverability, and so he's pretty much keeping her at bay, and everybody's obviously very afraid because he's going to basically keep his range and pick her off. But at some point, she activates all of her. They call them gun bits. I don't know if that's an official term. That's what Ellen called them, was gun bits. I usually call them funnels, but we can call them gun bits. Her funnels, using them to block and everything like that. And at some point, he hits one of them, but she's still able to continue to use all of them. I think it was kind of indicating this idea that him shooting one of these things would stun her, but since they're kind of individuals, it doesn't affect the whole system. But then she kind of just goes at full thrusters, and even I think she was even using the gun bits to kind of thrust herself as well, and it turns into this big chase. And that eventually leads to him kind of doing one really kind of desperate shot back at her, hitting her, knocking out her thrusters, but also then later on, managing to hit her and stun her. But then it seems like the aerial activates and does something crazy, and it creates this big pulse that goes out and pretty much knocks out all of his gun bits, and additionally him. And as he's kind of stunned, he realizes at some point there's something weird happening. I don't know if this was something that was internal to Elan himself, but it seemed like he was able to see the spirits of the gun bits that are surrounding Suetta. And I don't know, two theories here. We've always kind of seen Ariel as being another entity. It's Suetta's sister. And this AI being so advanced, it can be seen as something that is some sort of relative of hers. The other theory that's kind of been baking, and yes, I kind of was indicating it previous episode where they had this whole kind of, they were doing a fortune telling and they were wondering, do you have a sibling, a brother or something? She's like, no, I don't have any brothers. That was kind of seeing that Ariel was an entity or a person. So it goes in my theory in the idea that Ariel has a soul within it. Like they somehow placed a person inside of Ariel, which makes me kind of start to believe this idea that every single one of these gun bits is a spirit, as a person. Again, it could just be these are all individual AIs, Ariel's an AI, and so they're all seen as actual children surrounding Suetta. Or again, they did some crazy stuff at at Vonita's Institute and put a bunch of children inside this machine. But again, that's what Elan gets a picture of. He sees all these children dancing around. But we'll see. Apparently, the folks inside of the dueling ring area were catching recordings of it, so they'll probably start getting into it maybe next episode. But yeah, Elan loses. Suetta goes out there to try to pull him out of this melting cockpit, and yeah, he kind of indicates, oh, you want to know more about me? Yes, I had once somebody that used to sing happy birthday to me, and she said, you know, you do still have somebody. I'm here. I'm somebody that's with you that would sing happy birthday to you, giving him, yes, somebody that's in his existence. And that all kind of wraps up with Suetta waiting to meet up with Elan, and then we cut over to the pill industries where Belle's trying to get them to keep Elan around. But they're like, no, number 4 is useless now. Just dispose of him. We have plenty of others to replace him. And then, yes, Suetta sings happy birthday. Elan sings happy birthday. And then they nuke him. There you go. Gone. I'm curious what they're going to do going forward, because they're obviously still going to have Elan at the actual academy. So it makes me believe they're just going to replace him with another. So the question mark comes is, does the pill industries have some way of implanting his memories into Elan? Obviously, Elan, number 4, was completely different than the guy that he was mimicking. That guy seemed like he was full of himself, sitting down, like, man, what are you doing? Whereas Elan is very kind of cold and very monotone. So it doesn't seem like he is, I don't know, a proper clone unless he's acting the way that they want him to act. But I'll just be curious the next time we see Elan pop up. Number 5, I'm going to guess, unless the original decides to take his place, which I don't think he's going to. He's supposed to be this prince, and I'm guessing that he's probably got somebody to replace him to, again, keep him safe. Will he have some sort of memories? Is he going to act like he knows who Suetta is? Is Suetta going to catch it very quickly? And then that's my expectations. I think Suetta's going to realize very quickly it's not the same person and that something happened to him. I don't know how she's going to figure that out. Like, is cloning a normal thing in this world? Is face swapping normal in this world? But it's obviously going to be a huge issue with Suetta, unfortunately. Because I think Elan was the first person that she really did connect with. I mean, yes, you had a brief moment with Guel. I think she's more connected to Elan than she was Mjorin. I think she does respect Mjorin and want to appease her a lot, but I don't think that she had as much of a connection with Mjorin as Elan. So this is going to be like technically her first loss of somebody that she really cared for. So yeah, I will be very curious how that's going to turn out. I really do think like the first, I guess, industry that's going to really get taken down in the story is going to be the pill industries. Because I think with everything that's happening with, again, number 4, with them having a Gundam and all that kind of stuff, it really does put it in a position where Prospera can use or break that. And I'm curious if that's going to be one of those things that she's going to have a conflict with. But yeah, it doesn't seem like PL Industries is doing very well with the Gundam itself. We kind of indicated that he went up to level 4 and that was too much for him. So we're obviously nowhere near finding a resolve for the data storms with PL Industries as with obviously what Vanadis did with Sueta. But at the same time, I guess their remedy with Pill Industries is the idea of just creating people that are disposable. But anyhow, that's my thoughts on episode 6 of Gundam The Witch from Mercury. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. As always, if you did, make sure to hit that like button down below. Comment, let me know what you thought of this episode. Don't sing happy birthday down there. And give your best wishes to Guel and his camping trip. Additionally, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you get all my content. I do news, reviews, first impressions, top list. If it's anime, it's pretty much here. Additionally, if you want to support the channel more, we have a Patreon link, a tips link, and a super thanks button down below. Greatly appreciate it, but it does. And you'll take care.